Today we've got games 2 and 3 of the NLCS here in year number 5 of the San Francisco Giants franchise here on MLB The Show 24. Of course, things are personal against Atlanta. They've beaten us in the NLCS 2 years in a row, and I'll be damned if it happens a third time. In the last episode, we split the first 2 games of the series at home, losing game 1 5-3 and winning the second matchup 4-2. Both games were pretty competitive, obviously decided by 2 runs each. As we start with game 1, very evenly matched throughout. We started with an early 2-0 lead. The Braves bounced back, and of course they had a big 9th inning with a 2-run homer by Austin Riley, which immediately brought me back to last year's series when Austin Riley walked off Game 6 to send the Braves to the World Series against Camilo Doval, who was also pitching in this instance. Sandy Alcantara got the start. He was fine. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good either. And then in Game 2, the Braves offense really just did not get much. They had a strong 4th inning, but that was about it. Jung-Hoo Lee had 4 hits. Leody Taveras added 3 more. The rest of the team only combined for 4 hits, but it didn't matter because those other 2 guys did so well. We had a solid start from Kyle Harrison, and then the bullpen shut the door. We had to win Game 2. We could not afford to go down 2-0, with both of those games being at home, no less. So now the series is evened up. It's a best of 5. Atlanta gets 3 consecutive home games. We've got to win at least 1 on the road to keep the series alive. I would obviously love to win more than that. I think the plan is we're going to have Mason Miller, who has not yet pitched in the postseason, get the start here in Game 3, and then Fernando Molina will get the start in Game 4. Miller has mostly been a relief option for us over the last couple of seasons in the postseason, but being that our rotation is not as deep as it's been in the past, he's going to get the start, I believe, his first career postseason start with us, so it should be fascinating to see how that goes, as we'll be facing off against Dylan Cease, who's been quite good for Atlanta over the last few years. So let's get this show on the road here at Truist Park in Atlanta. The Braves clinched a spot in the World Series here 2 seasons in a row against us, obviously highlighted again by the Game 6 walk-off home run by Austin Riley a year ago. Should be a couple of fun games today. I'm curious to see how these more inexperienced pitchers are going to do. Fernando Molina, as we look ahead to Game 4, of course, he was in 3rd for the Cy Young this year, but has not had a good postseason outing in his career yet. Those are your lineups, and here is Dylan Cease. He's pitched in 2 postseason games so far, and he was okay, 4.09 ERA. The whip certainly a little bit high at 1.73. Got the no decision in both matchups going back to the wild card round against Milwaukee. Tommy Rogers leads things off, and he draws a walk. That pitch gets by the catcher, Sean Murphy. Good to see Tommy Rogers getting on base, tied for the team lead in walks in the postseason as Jung-Hoo Lee sends it into the opposite field, picking up right where he left off from not just Game 2 of this series, but the entire playoffs as a whole. Jung-Hoo Lee has been unstoppable, and the speedster Rogers makes it to 3rd. Runners on the corners, nobody out, an early opportunity to strike. Ian Happ hits it high and deep in right center. That one is caught by Jose Azocar, but it gives Tommy plenty of room to score. The fastest man in baseball. Salute to the late, great Ricky Henderson. And so the Giants are on the board. They lead 1-0, but that's all we're going to get here in the first as Stone Garrett goes down on the fastball, and Dylan Cease is able to get out of the jam. He let up the 2 early runners. Could have gone a lot worse, I suppose. As we take a look at Mason Miller, who had a solid regular season for us, 4.14 ERA, 1.35 whip. We mostly used him as a starter, starting 28 games. He came out of the bullpen a little bit when our rotation was deep before Logan Webb got hurt, but that did not last long. That was like a 3 or 4 game thing. Gunnar Henderson crushes it into right, and Atlanta quickly ties it up. A leadoff home run for Gunnar Henderson, who has been pretty quiet so far in the NLCS. That's his first home run of the postseason. The Braves were waiting for the big swing from him, and they finally get it. He went deep around 35 times in the regular season and is finally able to get one over the fence here in October. So the Braves are able to offset the quick start by the Giants offense. Both teams on the board here in the first, and Atlanta's looking for more. Christian Arroyo goes down on the slider. That pitch was low in the dirt. I don't know what he was swinging at. Ronald Acuna up next. He finds himself ahead in the count 2-1. And Acuna launches it into left, but it will curve foul. The Giants dodge a bullet. That was a close call. Now the count is evened up at 2-2 after the near home run by the former National League MVP, Ronald Acuna. Miller got him on the cutter towards the top outside corner of the strike zone, as that brings up Austin Riley, the hero from Game 1, the guy who dominated us last year in the NLCS. We're afraid to pitch to him. We don't want to give him anything too good, but that time he chases the inside fastball. Would have been ball 4 had he let it go. And we move into the second. It's been a rough postseason for Munetaka Murakami. He is 2 for 18 with 8 strikeouts. Thought he might have changed his fortunes here, but that one is foul. Murakami led the National League in home runs this year with 43 and was arguably the best hitter in the NL, but he chases the high and outside fastball. It feels like Murakami is just trying to do too much at the plate, and again, as I've talked about throughout the playoffs so far, his approach just feels off right now as Jose Ramirez goes down looking. Both pitchers with a lot of strikeouts early. Cease is already at 4. Miller had 3 in the first inning. Here's Leody Taveras, 3-2, checks his swing. Umpire says he went around. Taveras is off to a good start in the postseason. Through the first 2 games of the NLCS, he is 4 for 6 after missing the NLDS with an injury. But that won't help him. We move into the bottom of the second. O'Neal Cruz hitting .440 through 7 games so far, but is behind 1-2, and he goes down on the low outside circle change from Mason Miller, who looks dialed in since allowing the leadoff home run to Gunnar Henderson. He has struck out 4 batters in a row. We'll see if he can make it 5 against Ozzie Albies, who is not at a great postseason, but is coming off a good game too. And he goes down on the circle change. Another punch out for Miller, 5 in a row. We'll see if he can make it 6 against Matt Olson, who had a big game 1, homered into the Cove, and he will pop this one up. So at the very least, he makes contact. The last 5 batters, not able to say the same, but it is weakly hit over to first. Murakami makes the play. 1-2-3 frame for Mason Miller, and that will bring us into the third, still tied at 1. Nothing going in the second for either team. Jun-Hoo Lee, the only Giant with a hit so far, who's surprised, and he's not done. Rips it into left center. That one will one-hop off the wall. Jun-Hoo Lee, 2 for 2 already. He is unstoppable this postseason. His playoff WAR coming into today was .9. That leads all of baseball as Happ hits it high and deep in the left. At the track, it is gone. 2-run blast for Ian Happ, his second here in October. And the San Francisco Giants regain the lead. It's 3-1. Ian Happ has driven in all 3 runs today. A big swing into the opposite field for Happ, who's been a little inconsistent throughout the postseason, but he's had some big plays, including that one. Blake Sabol up the middle. Nice scoop by Cease. That'll wrap up the top of the third. A good inning, though, for the Giants. They get the 2-run homer from Ian Happ and lead it 3-1 as we move into the bottom of the third. Full count here for Jose Azocar. Pitch from Miller with 1 away, and he goes down on the inside fastball. Other than the home run by Gunnar, Mason Miller looks completely unhittable right now. And speaking of Gunnar Henderson, he's back up. Behind 1-2, and Gunnar calls the number again! Reservations for 2, please! His second home run of the night, and Atlanta brings it within 1. Gunnar Henderson now 2 for 2 today. Both home runs, responsible for both runs on the board for Atlanta. He's the only guy who's been able to get anything off of Mason Miller in this game, and now he can say he's done it twice. Christian Arroyo hits it on the ground. Going to be a tough play. Happ, diving grab, and the throw is in time. What a play there at second base by Ian Happ. He has had himself a start to this game, as has Gunnar Henderson. He homered again. It's 3-2 here in the fourth as Stone Garrett goes down on the slider. Much of the talk has been about Munetaka Murakami's struggles, but Stone Garrett so far really has not been much better here in the postseason. And speaking of Murakami, he's up here with 1 away. Swings at a pitch he should not have, but it goes for a base hit into center field. Again, the discipline's got to be better. He's still trying to do too much, but that was a good swing. We can't get too mad And now there's a runner aboard here, 2 away for the center fielder, Leody Taveras, with a full count, and he will draw a walk. Good at bat, 2-1, 2 away. Big opportunity for Brendan Donovan, who played well early in the postseason, but has really cooled off. Behind 1-2, swinging a miss on the circle change. Dylan Cease gets out of the inning as the Giants leave 2 runners aboard. We've just been way too inconsistent throughout this postseason with runners on base going back to the NLDS against the Dodgers. Bottom 4, 3-1 for Acuna. He draws a walk. A leadoff base runner here for Atlanta as they get another runner on. This is their first runner other than Gunnar Henderson all day, and Acuna's going for second. He is safe. I think we timed up the throw and the tag pretty well. Ronald Acuna just happens to be a damn good base stealer as he's in scoring position with nobody out for Austin Riley, who's behind 1-2. Lines it into center. That goes for a hit. That should score Acuna with no problem, although Leody Taveras is a cannon. But the throws are not in time. This game is tied at 3 with an RBI single by Riley. And now there's a runner aboard with nobody out. Atlanta's got a chance to really add to the lead, and it looks like they will. O'Neal Cruz into right. Garrett can only watch it fly. The Braves take a 5-3 lead. O'Neal Cruz with his 3rd home run of the postseason, his 2nd of the NLCS. Mason Miller is struggling here early in the 4th inning, and we're going to be aggressive. We're going to yank him now. The Braves have a couple lefties coming up, so rather than bringing in a guy like Yariel Rodriguez, who can be used as a long reliever for multiple innings, we're going to go with one of our lefties, Genesis Cabrera, who had a good regular season and has thrown 2 1/3 scoreless innings so far here in the postseason. Ozzie Albies swings and misses on the curveball. There's one. The biggest reason why I wanted Cabrera in was because of this guy, Matt Olson. However, he ends up with a base hit, so I guess that logic didn't really work out. The shift proves to really backfire. I think if not for the shift, Ian Happ would have had a chance at second to get that ball. Runner at first, 1 away here for Sean Murphy. The Braves have already scored 3 in this inning. I think they're looking for more. However, it will not be from Murphy as he goes down on the fastball, and that brings us to the bottom of the lineup. A big at-bat here for Jose Azocar. Maybe not the guy you want up in this spot, but Azocar will deliver. Down the line and fair. He's headed for second. Olsen is over at third. Everybody is safe, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position, and the Braves can completely break this game wide open with a big swing from guess who? Gunnar Henderson. We are not going to let him get anything near the zone. He ends up drawing a 5-pitch walk. We're going to go back to the bullpen now with the 2 lefties, Olsen and Henderson, having not only gotten their at-bats, but both of them reached base. And this is where we're going to bring in Yariel Rodriguez. Bases loaded. The Braves have already scored 3 in this inning. They've added 3 additional base runners. Arroyo ahead 3-1. Looks at the fastball. Obviously, we don't want to give him anything too good, but we also want this to be in the strike zone. We don't want to walk and a run. 3-2, swinging a miss on the 97-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball. Braves leave them loaded, but they do get 3. Headlined by a 2-run shot by O'Neal Cruz to yank Mason Miller out of the game. Into the 5th, Jung-Hoo Lee into the left center gap. Again, death, taxes, and opposite field base hits for Jung-Hoo Lee. He's already got 3 of them today. That's a hat trick. What a start to this game for Jung-Hoo Lee. Over his last 2 games, he is 7 of 8. I think that's pretty good. Ian Happ also playing pretty good today. He singles into center. 2 runners on base, 1 away. This is a really nice opportunity to get something going and try to get this lead back, or at the very least tie it up, and it will not be against Dylan Cease. Atlanta's going to take him out of the game. Dylan Cease wasn't horrible, but he definitely did not have his best stuff today. Did not look like the ace that Atlanta is accustomed to and paid that huge contract to a couple off seasons ago. Cade Cooler will come out of the bullpen to replace him. 6 earned runs in 3 postseason innings. He pitched in Game 1 of this series and wasn't horrible. Much of that ERA came from the NLDS against Milwaukee, where he was a train wreck. But what a huge opportunity here for Blake Sabol, and he delivers! Liner into left! That one's going to roll all the way to the wall. 1 run scores, and we're going to keep it at that. I don't think we would have had enough time to score Ian Happ, but it's an RBI double for Blake Sabol. It's 5-4, 2 runners in scoring position. We've got 2 chances to drive these guys in and presumably take the lead with a base hit. The problem is it's Stone Garrett and Munetaka Murakami who have not been good throughout the postseason. Garrett hits it well into center. Not a bad at bat. He brought it to a full count, but that one is caught with a great throw from Azocar, and it's not going to let us tag in Ian Happ. Murakami did get a base hit in his last at bat. Count again is full for him, and he launches it into left! And this ball is foul. Another close one for Munetaka Murakami. Close but no cigar. Count remains full, and he hits it up the middle. What a play at short! Gunnar Henderson makes the throw, and that'll end the inning. So not only has Gunnar Henderson directly given the Braves 2 runs off of his 2 homers, but with this diving grab, he just saved 2 runs from being scored as well. That's a net difference of 4 runs, which usually is the difference within a game. What a night for Gunnar Henderson so far. Into the bottom half of the 5th, Rodriguez remains in the game. He strikes out Ronald Acuna on the slider. That'll bring up Austin Riley now. Count is 2-2. Riley drove in a run earlier today, and he goes down on the splitter. Yariel Rodriguez has had a dominant season. He's been really good so far in the postseason when he's been utilized, and that is carried over into today. Now against O'Neill Cruz, who homered his last time up, goes down looking on the fastball. Rodriguez has faced off against 4 batters, and all 4 of them have struck out, including some pretty darn good hitters with Acuna, Riley, and Cruz in this inning. Let's go into the 6th now. Full count for Leody Taveras. Walked in his last at-bat, and he hits this ball high and deep into left center. Has some carry, but Jose Azocar is really fast. Even though he's not a great offensive player, he's got great range and speed in the outfield, great glove, great arm. So they're not losing defense with the injury to Michael Harris, but obviously his offense is certainly missed in this lineup as Brendan Donovan goes down looking. A nice inning for Cade Kuehler, who's done a really good job out of the bullpen for Atlanta. We go bottom half of the 6th now. John Schreiber is out of the pen for the Giants. He's had a good postseason so far, not having allowed any runs, and it looks like that'll change right here. Ozzie Albies into right. That one is gone off the chop house, and Atlanta adds to the lead. It's now 6-4. It has not been a great postseason for Ozzie Albies, the guy who we were going to offer $200+ million to last offseason until the Braves swooped in and did it first. But he gets a big swing here, adding to the Atlanta lead at 6-4. Murphy with a liner to first. What a grab by Munetaka Murakami, showing off the vertical. Azocar is up now. Count is even 2-2. Pops it into right. Garrett is under it. He should be able to make the play. But the Braves add to their lead with the solo shot to start the inning by Ozzie Albies. Into the 7th, we've got some work to do, down by 2. Kuehler still in the game as Ian Happ flies it into left center. A 1-2-3 inning with the top of our lineup up. That would have been a great chance to get some runs going with Tommy Rogers' speed and Jung-Hoo Lee's unstoppable hitting ability. Neither of them, along with Ian Happ, who's also had a really good day, are able to get on base. We're going to keep John Schreiber in the game here in the bottom of the 7th as Gunnar lines it to third. Nice snag by Jose Ramirez for the first out of the inning. 2 away, Ronald Acuna flies it into left. A bold decision to stick with Schreiber through 2 innings, but I thought he looked good throughout that 6th inning with the exception of the home run by Albies, and I felt like he had another inning in him, and that decision paid off. Into the 8th now, still 6-4. The Braves are going to go to the back end of the bullpen. Presumably Evan Phillips here, and then Emmanuel Clase for the 9th. Phillips, the reliever of the year in the National League last year, has not loaded up any runs so far in the postseason. Sable with a single into right. There's a good start. He's had a productive night, and we've got our runner on base. With nobody out, tying run is at the plate, but Garrett and Murakami are the 2 guys due up. When are these guys going to give us a big swing? Garrett puts it on the ground. This should be 2, and it will. Stone Garrett has been one of the most clutch players on this team since we traded for him a few years ago. I don't know what's happened here in this postseason. This is not the Stone Garrett that we've watched for the last couple of seasons. And then Murakami swings at a pitch way in the dirt. Who took the real Stone Garrett and Munetaka Murakami? Because those 2 guys just look lost right now. 2 of our most important players are stinking it up here in the postseason as we go bottom 8. We're going to keep Schreiber in for one more at-bat. It's Austin Riley. He grounds out. And then we're going to bring in Jojo Romero because now the Braves have a couple of lefties with O'Neal Cruz due up here. Matt Olson is 2 batters away. I wanted to have Romero completely fresh prior to him coming in the game. Against Cruz, grounder to third. Jose Ramirez scoops it up. Throw is in time. We might not even have to worry about Matt Olson, as that brings up the following batter, the number 6 hitter, Ozzie Albies, hitting from the right side of the plate. Homered in his last at-bat, pops it into center. It looks like Leody Taveras will get that ball. A good inning from Schreiber and Romero, as it remains 6-4, and we know what we've got to do here in the 9th. We need 2 to tie. The bottom part of the lineup is due up, 7, 8, 9. We'll see if those guys are able to deliver, and it'll be against one of baseball's best. Emmanuel Clase, acquired via trade at the deadline from Cleveland, is going to come in, try to finish this game off, and put the Braves ahead 2-1 in the series. Clase has come in twice so far this postseason. He's 2 of 2 in save opportunities, has not allowed a base hit yet. His former Guardians teammate, Jose Ramirez, flies it into center. Azokar is under it. There is out number 1. We might go to the bench here. We will at number 8. Leody Taveras has hit the ball well, but I trust Kyler Rodriguez a little bit more, and that decision pays off. Down the line and left, Kyler is into second with a double. And again, we're going to have the tying run up with the 9-1-2 hitters. Brendan Donovan is a very clutch offensive player, but has not been good so far in this series against Atlanta. This one's got some carry into center. It is caught. We're not going to tag the runner. There's not really a need to, because the tying run is still at the plate. Not really worth the risk. So that brings up Tommy Rogers. Walked and scored back in the first. Hasn't really done much else of anything since. Behind 1-2. This one is hit high into right. Has some carry, but it will be caught by Ronald Acuna Jr. And the Atlanta Braves win Game 3 of the NLCS by the score of 6-4. And they now lead this series 2-1. This game really was a tale of two. Through the first 5 innings, the offense was really productive. We had scored 4 runs. We were hitting the ball well. We were getting guys on base. And then something changed. Once Atlanta had their bullpen in, those guys slammed the door on us. It was the polar opposite of what we saw in the Dodgers series, where their starting pitching did really well against us. Then their bullpen comes in, and they forget how to pitch. The problem is, it's not like Atlanta's rotation is a weak link. They had the best rotation in baseball, and we have to assume they're going to pitch better than this in the future. Jung-Hoo Lee had a good day. Ian Happ played well, as did Blake Sabol, but the rest of the lineup's got to step up. Those 3 guys can't carry us to a win. Mason Miller started on fire, and then he fizzled out quick. The bullpen was fine. They weren't bad. They weren't great either, though. So with that, we trail 2-1. It's not time to panic yet, but it could be if we lose this Game 4, and we're handing this one onto the right arm of Fernando Molina. And we're in a tricky spot, I feel like, with Molina, because on one hand, he's a really good player. He finished in 3rd place for the NL Cy Young this past season. He looks like a really good piece of this rotation going forward. And ever since he made his regular season debut with us a couple years ago, he's been a great player in the regular season. But in his limited opportunity in the postseason, he's been shaky. He made his first career postseason start in the clinching Game 3 against the Dodgers. He started slow, definitely got better as the game went along, but it certainly was not his best outing. And we're going to need him to perform at his best because he's facing off against an elite lineup. Speaking of our lineup, we're switching some things around. We're moving the order a little bit. Kyler Rodriguez is starting. Johnny Hackman is starting. Kyle Wright will be on the bump here for Atlanta. He has not pitched yet in the playoffs, coming off a pretty up and down regular season. Tommy Rogers opens things up. He goes down on the slurve. Nice pitch there by Wright to get things started for out number 1. Rogers did not have a great Game 3, but the rest of this top part of the lineup did. Jung-Hoo Lee, grounder to third. Riley bobbles it, but then makes the throw. Lee again was great. Again, Ian Happ had a really good game, as did Blake Sabol. But other than those 2, 3, 4 hitters, the rest of the team in Game 3 was just really not good. Happ ends up drawing a walk, so he is aboard here with 2 away. And that will bring up the aforementioned Blake Sabol, who historically has really always risen to the top in the postseason, looking to do so again here. This one is hit high and deep into center, but it is caught by Jose Azokar, And Kyle Wright is able to get through the first, allows the walk, and that is it. No runs are able to come home as we go to the bottom half of the frame where we will take a look at Fernando Molina. He threw a career-high 160 innings this year, struck out 210 batters. I do wonder if he is not built to throw this many innings in a season. Keep in mind his stamina rating is only at a 60, so maybe that could be the reason for his postseason struggles, that his arm is kind of worn out at the end of the year, and if that's the case, then that's a problem because we need him to produce today. Gunnar Henderson up the middle, gets by Happ, and it goes for a base hit. So the Braves start the inning with an early runner aboard. We'll see if they're able to do some damage and strike first. Christian Arroyo now on the ground, should be two. Happ to Ramirez over to first, and this one is way offline into the Atlanta dugout. A throwing error on Jose Ramirez. We do get the one out at second base, but Arroyo will move over to second with the error. We'll see if Riley can drive him in. Short answer, yes! Austin Riley homers again! And the Braves lead it 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Riley has now homered twice against us so far in the NLCS and has overall hit the ball well after hitting like 5 or 6 home runs in the playoff series against us last year. The guy owns us. There's no way around it. I cannot wait to never have to face off against him again because he owns us. Oneil Cruz is up now. He strikes out on the fastball. Not a good first inning, though, for the Giants. Austin Riley homers, and the Braves lead 2-0 as that brings us into the second. Will this be the game where Munetaka Murakami gives us a big swing? This one is hit well in the left center. Oneil Cruz at the track, at the wall. It's caught. Not quite enough carry for Murakami, who had a couple close calls in the last game. That one again, close, but no cigar. Stone Garrett now, 2-2. Swing and a miss on the slurve. And the struggles of Murakami and Garrett continue here in October. Kyler Rodriguez now getting the start today. He hits this one well into center. Got some carry at the track, at the wall. It is caught. That's already like the third swing in this game alone that has made it to the warning track, but these balls just seem to die right when they get to the wall. Still 2-0. We go bottom 2. Ozzie Albies goes down on the changeup. Fernando Molina is a strikeout machine. We've got to see the swing and miss stuff coming. He has struck out the last couple of batters. Can he do it again against Sean Murphy? Yes, he does. He goes down on the curveball. Much better inning from Fernando Molina, who retires the side. We'll see if Molina is able to pick it up after a slow start like he did in his last game against the Dodgers. Into the third, full count for Jose Ramirez, and this one is hit up the middle for a base hit. A leadoff runner. That's what we've got to do. Just stack some base runners. We've still got plenty of time. There's still 7 innings of baseball left, and we're only down by 2. Right now, we just need to tread water. We can't try to do too much at the plate offensively. We don't need to just be swinging for the fences. Keep getting base runners. Keep making plays like this. Lee, dribble there to third, and it's going to go for an infield single. If we can just get runners on and do a good job of situational hitting, then we won't need to hit the panic button. We can bring ourselves back into this game and thus back into this series. Huge at bat now for Ian Happ. Full count, 2 away. What are you swinging at? That would have been ball 4 if he let it go. And again, that's what I'm saying by we need to tread water. Just don't drown. Don't do anything stupid. And, well, that decision to swing was pretty stupid. Bottom of the third, back to the top of the order. Gunnar Henderson strikes out on the changeup. Even though the offense has gotten off to a bad and unlucky start today, at least Fernando Molina is pitching better since allowing the home run back in the first to Riley. However, Christian Arroyo has other plans. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's just foul. 3.5 feet off, a close one. I think we dodged a bullet, but Arroyo is still looking to make a mark. This one into right, bounces over the foul fence, and it goes for a ground rule double. Arroyo's in scoring position here for Ronald Acuna. Up the middle, Happ. What a play! Throw to first is way offline. That one hits off the Braves dugout. It goes out of play. Acuna to second. Arroyo will score, and it's 3-0. What a play by Ian Happ, wasted away by a bad throw as Riley strikes out on that to end the inning. This game technically should be scoreless, but a pair of throwing errors from Jose Ramirez and now Ian Happ have directly given the Braves these extra runs. So now the defense has dug us in a hole, and again, the offense has got to tread water, stack some base runners. Here's a good start. Blake Sabol singles into right center, and so he is aboard to open up the frame. That'll bring up Munetaka Murakami. Can we at least get him on base at the very least? It looks like we will. Single into left field. That works. 2 on, nobody out. Who knows if we're going to get an opportunity like this again within the next couple of innings. We've got to take advantage. We've got to drive some of these runs in. We're doing a bad job, though. Now there's 2 away. A huge at-bat here for Jose Ramirez, and he will deliver into straightaway center. This one is long gone, and the Giants flip this game on its head with one swing at the bat. 3-run shot for Jose Ramirez, and this game is tied. J-Ram with his second home run of the postseason. We needed a spark pretty badly. We needed to get that big swing to put us back in the game, back in the series, and it's that play right there by Jose Ramirez to give us some light at the end of the tunnel as Hackman grounds out to first. A good inning, though. Got some early runners, looked a little shaky early on, but Jose Ramirez delivers when we need him to. And this game is now tied at 3, going into the bottom of the 4th. O'Neal Cruz leads things off. He goes down looking on the changeup. I got to give Fernando Molina a lot of credit. I feel like overall he's pitched a pretty good game. These runs, again, are largely because of the errors. And ever since that first inning, he's doing a good job of not letting guys get on base. Olsen chases the outside fastball. Another scoreless frame from Molina. And this one remains tied at 3, and we will move into the 5th. Now we've got to see if we can take the lead. Kyle Wright has struggled over these last couple of innings. We're getting a lot of runners on base. His pitch count is starting to get high. Let's take advantage. Here's a good start with the top of the order opening up the inning. Tommy Rogers singles into right. We've got our fastest base runner aboard. We have our best hitter up. Let's see if Jung-Hoo Lee can now deliver. He's behind 1-2, but he gets hit. That one didn't look like it hit him, but I guess it might have scraped his foot. Now there's 2 on, nobody out, and again, golden opportunity that we have to take advantage of. Kyle Wright needs to be taken out of the game. His control is completely off. Wild pitch, gets by Murphy, both runners advance, and now we've got 2 guys in scoring position, and all we would need theoretically is a base hit to bring in both of these runs. Count is full here for Ian Happ, and he will draw a walk. Kyle Wright cannot seem to find the strike zone. He is all over the place. His pitch count is getting high. Again, the last few innings have been rocky. So taking him out now is a good idea. And I like the decision to bring in the lefty Dylan Dodd because Blake Sabol's up, lefty, followed by Munetaka Murakami, lefty. We could consider bringing in Patrick Bailey or some other pinch hitter here. I think it's a little early to take Sabol out, though. We're going to keep him in for this at-bat. And he puts it on the ground. Olsen blocks it, sends it over to Dodd. They get the out at first. But more importantly, Tommy Rogers will score, and the Giants lead this one 4-3. We take our first lead of the game. Hard to argue with that result. Another lefty-on-lefty matchup. Full count for Murakami. Puts it on the ground. Albies gets the out at first. But again, we score the run. This time it's Jung-Hoo Lee. So even though it's not a flashy at-bat, it's hard to complain with the result. 2-1 for Stone Garrett, rips it into left. That one gets well past O'Neal Cruz. It rolls to the wall, and it's 6-3. So we loaded the bases off of Kyle Wright. Dodd comes in, and even though he does a pretty good job of getting some guys out, we're still able to clear the bases. Good, fundamental, situational hitting, capped off by a double from Garrett, as Kyler Rodriguez will not drive him in. He chases the slider low and well away from the strike zone. But a good inning. We add 3 more runs. We lead at 6-3. This probably will be it for Fernando Molina. Again, given his low-ish stamina rating, he's not built to go 6-7 innings at a time. And if the Braves are going to hit the ball well like this one, we might have to take him out early. Gunnar Henderson, 113 off the bat. It goes for a double. And I think we will take him out here. I wanted to have him get through 5 innings, but the pitch count is starting to get high. He just let up a really hard hit ball. I don't want to risk it. I trust our bullpen to make a play. Overall, not some fantastic start by Fernando Molina, but I thought he was pretty solid. I feel like he had a pretty good day, and this should give him some positive momentum, assuming we need him again at some point in the postseason. Hopefully we will. Otherwise, that would imply we probably lose this series to Atlanta. Joel Payamps will come in to get out of the jam. We have only used him once so far in the postseason, 2/3 of a scoreless inning. As with 2 away, Arroyo puts it on the ground. Ian Happ makes the play. Throw to first is in time, and we get through the 5th, up by 3. A complete 180 from where we were just 2 innings ago. We were down by 3. We were in trouble. We needed to get something going. And, well, we sure have got something going with 3 runs in the 4th, thanks to this guy, and 3 more in the 5th. Let's see if we can add some more. Jose Ramirez goes down looking, so he will not produce another big swing. Dodd's second K of the day. Back to the top of the order with 2 outs. Tommy Rogers was the one who started the rally in the last inning. Pops it up into center as Okar makes the play, and the top of the 6th ends up being a lot more uneventful here for San Francisco, as that will bring us to the bottom half of the frame. We're going to roll with Joel Payamps here. He only faced off against 1 batter in the last inning. I think he's got a good inning left in the tank, at least. As Ronald Acuna draws a walk. That's a tough pitch to lay off. Hanging pitch coming in slow. Curves to the outside late. A good take by Acuna. He's aboard with nobody out, and he's looking for second. Sabol, the throw is in time! Part-time ball player, full-time sniper. Great throw by Blake Sabol to get the out and take the speedster off the base paths. Austin Riley behind 1-2. Up the middle, Happ. Backhanded play. This time he does make the throw. I was a little bit nervous as he was getting rid of that ball. Both him and Ramirez, of course, with costly errors, which luckily may not prove to be that big of a deal given how well we have hit the ball over the last couple of innings. Cruz pops it up. Garrett is under it. He makes the play. It will remain 6-3 as we go to the 7th inning. Still 6 unanswered runs here for the Giants, as Atlanta has not been able to get much going offensively since the 3rd, where they really only scored because of the error. So Dylan Dodd will be taken out of the game. I thought overall Dodd did a pretty good job, and he'll be replaced by Penn Murphy, the reliever of the year in 2026. Has not had a great postseason, though. 5 innings, 4 earned runs allowed. Jun-Hoo Lee leads things off. Up the middle. There he goes again. Another hard hit ball for Lee. A slurve coming in with a lot of movement. That's not an easy pitch to hit. Don't tell that to Jun-Hoo Lee, though. Another multi-hit game for Lee. That'll bring up Ian Happ. He's ahead 3-1, and he will draw a walk. So another inning where we start things off with 2 runners on base. Just like the 4th, where we scored 3. Just like the 5th, where we scored 3 more. Let's do it again, shall we? That's not how you do it. Blake Sabol should not be looking at fastballs right down the middle. That goes for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Munetaka Murakami. Swings at a pitch he probably should not have, but it's going to drop for a hit. Run will score. Happ is out at second. A base-running blunder by Ian Happ. As good as he was in Game 3, he's had a pretty rough showing today. But we do drive in a run, adding to the lead, and that'll bring up Stone Garrett. RBI double his last time up. Here he strikes out on the slurve. So we get 1, we add to the lead, we're up by 4, and we've given ourselves a pretty nice cushion, especially with the back-end bullpen of doom ready if needed. The thing is, I don't even know if we're going to need all of our regular late-game relievers. Matt Olson goes down on the fastball. As you can see, Joel Payamps staying in the game. I want to use some of these relievers a little bit longer. I want to be smart with how I utilize some of these guys, and I don't want to overwork some of our top relievers, so they'll be ready when needed. And again, like the decision to keep John Schreiber in for a while in the last game, Joel Payamps with a 1-2-3 inning, and we go to the 8th. Johan Ramirez is out of the bullpen for Atlanta. He has not had a good month of October. He's allowed 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Kyler Rodriguez has been quiet today, but he will draw a walk, and so we get the leadoff runner aboard. A speedy one at that. Leody Taveras will come in off the bench to replace Johnny Hackman, and Taveras puts it on the ground. Ramirez makes the play. Henderson over to Olson for an inning-ending double play. It remains 7-3. We'll go bottom 8. And again, we're not going to use one of our super key late-game guys. Instead, we've got Genesis Cabrera, who statistically has been just as good as guys like Romero and Bautista, and arguably better than Duvall. And with Gunnar Henderson up in this inning, I wanted to get the lefty-on-lefty matchup. And this time it actually does work out. He goes down on the circle change for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Christian Arroyo, 1 for 3 with a double today. Got him looking on the two-seamer. Remains 7-3 as we go into the ninth. Another pitching change here for Atlanta, down by 4. Looking for anything to try to come back, win this game, take a 3-1 series lead. As it's Blake Burkhalter. 2 earned runs in 4 postseason innings so far. He's been pretty average through his 3 postseason games. Top of the order due up. Rogers ahead 3-1. And he gets a nice piece of this one into left at the track, at the wall. It's gone! Solo home run for Tommy Rogers, his 3rd of the postseason. That leads the team, and it's 8-3 San Francisco. If we go back to last year's postseason, it felt like J.P. Crawford and Blake Sabol were hitting all the home runs. This year, it's been a lot more evenly spread out. I think we've only got a couple of guys who have gone deep multiple times. I think Happ has 2, Ramirez has 2, Rogers has 3, and that's probably it for guys with more than 1. Blake Sabol puts it on the ground here with 2 away, so we're only going to get the 1. But we're in a very good spot, up by 5, and we're going to do something a little bit unconventional here. I'm going to have Camilo Duvall pitch the bottom of the 9th inning. Duvall has obviously had an up-and-down season this year. We saw him last in Game 1, where it was tied in the top of the 9th, and he led up the big home run to Austin Riley. So my thought process is, let's get him back in a game. Let's have him pitching well. Let's try to get his confidence up in a low-leverage spot where we're up by 5 as he strikes out Acuna. His kryptonite, Austin Riley, sure enough, singles into center. If this inning does get rocky, Felix Bautista is stretching, but I trust Camilo Duvall. He's a, 5-time All-Star? He's one of the best relievers in the league. I'm confident he'll get us through this inning without much of a problem as O'Neal Cruz goes down on the sinker for out number 2. One more out, and we can tie this series up at 2. Full count for Ozzie Albies. Swing and a miss on the cutter, and the San Francisco Giants win Game 4 here in Atlanta by the final score of 8-3. So we take one on the road. We tied the series up at 2, and it's now a best of 3 where we would get home field. And it's nice that no matter what, this series will be ending at home at Oracle Park. The last 2 postseason runs, the NLCS has ended in Atlanta. So at the very least, even if we were to lose Game 5, we'd get to go back home with an opportunity to win a couple of games. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we win Game 5. Rogers had a productive day. He went deep. Another multi-hit game from Lee. Ramirez played well. Murakami had a couple of hits. Great to see. Overall, a really strong day from the offense. 10 hits, 4 walks. I thought Fernando Molina had a pretty good start, and then the bullpen was fantastic. Molina led up 2 earned runs, but really, I don't think those runs would have happened if not for the throwing error by Jose Ramirez. As for the Braves, Kyle Wright did not have a good start. Their bullpen was fine. Obviously, there was nothing they really could have done to prevent the loss. So with that, the series is tied at 2. It's been very competitive with us in Atlanta up to this point. And now it's a best of 3. And Yel De Los Santos is no longer hurt, but unfortunately he's still going to be on the injured list for another week or 2, which, if we were to make the World Series, would not make him eligible for the postseason roster. But we're not worried about the World Series. We're worried about Games 5 and 6. Sandy on the mound in Game 5. Harrison on the bump for Game 6. It should be interesting to see how these guys, Sandy in particular, will perform. So that'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.